SAFM.
Music never sleeps, and neither do we.
This is SAFM, leading the conversations that move us. This is SAFM.
Just tell me about how this concert series fits in with what you are trying to do with these young people.
The reality is that private funders do not just thoughtlessly throw their resources around.
It is one thing to get a backtrack like that for a finance guy, hey?
Yeah. Somebody just WhatsApped me to say that she has a daughter who has hearing loss.
Corruption in South Africa has reached disgraceful levels.
First things first, let's get to my daily that's my point feature. So, did you see Cristiano Ronaldo cry yesterday?
This is SAFM.
Music never sleeps, and neither do we.
phela isuyinzima. Hard work I am. Ngivuke ekuseni ngenza uhlelo, kumele benza njalo. I hold myself impumelelo. Sesiseduze nayo. Shilo ini makanana. Shilo ini makanana. Shilo ini makanana. She got the shama jana mane. Shilo ini makanana. Shilo ini makanana. Shilo ini makanana. She got the shama jana mane. Yes, yes, makanana. Yes, makanana. Yes, makanana. She got the shama jana mane. Shilo ini makanana. Shilo ini makanana. Shilo ini makanana. She got the shama jana. Yes, makanana. Yes, makanana. Yes, makanana. Yes, makanana. She got the shama jana. Yes, makanana. Yes, makanana. Yes, makanana. Yes, makanana.
This is SAFM, leading the conversations that move us. This is SAFM.
Just tell me about how this concert series fits in with what you are trying to do with these young people.
The reality is that private funders do not just thoughtlessly throw their resources around.
It is one thing to get a backtrack like that for a finance guy, hey?
Somebody just WhatsApped me to say that she has a daughter who has hearing loss.
Corruption in South Africa has reached disgraceful levels.
First things first, let's get to my daily that's my point feature. So, did you see Cristiano Ronaldo cry yesterday?
This is SAFM.
Music never sleeps, and neither do we.
resulted in, wildlife being displaced. There were crocodile farms that were just, washed away with water. And so you had hippos and crocodiles and all sorts of wild animals just being washed away in water. And, it was a state of disaster. And I was out there covering those floods. And I'm speaking to the issue of the bridges, just to drive the message home. We were stationed close to a bridge, and this is sort of in one of the areas that had been very heavy hit. And you can imagine, once it's raining heavily like this, some areas become completely cut off to traffic. And we were with emergency services and we're keeping close to the authorities. As we were watching what was happening with the water, people are being told, motorists are being told, don't cross, don't cross. I want to tell you that we literally watched with our eyes a car that tried to cross and was washed away in this flood. It had 4 people inside. There were 4 occupants in that car. And there was absolutely nothing we could do to save them. And I can still remember hearing the screams of those guys as this car was just being swept by this heavy current. There was another pedestrian who was insisting on crossing, and the same thing happened to him. So we watched 5 people lose their lives in one day just because they wouldn't listen. So please don't take the chance, because in that instance, there's nothing the authorities can do. They can't come after you because that is literally endangering their own lives. So let's take heed to these weather warnings, and let's please be careful. Let's be careful. Your life is much more important than wherever it is you need to get to. If you delay, you at least have the opportunity of still getting there, rather than if you insist and, you are no more. And it happens so quickly. It happens so quickly. In less than 5 minutes, that car was trying to get through the water. There was a heavy current, and it was washed away. And it was picked up downstream a couple of days later. So that's just to emphasize the warnings around the weather. All right, coming up on the show today, in the second hour of the show for Citizens Corner, we're going to be focusing on the security industry, and in particular, looking at the exploitation, the ongoing exploitation of security guards. And we're going to zoom in on Mafoko Security today. Why? Because this has been a company whose name has been dragged in the mud. Long-standing accusations of not treating workers well. And this time, we're seeing political parties, we're seeing unions also get involved. So we'll be having that conversation in the second hour of the show. And then the final hour, Parliament's ad hoc committee that is investigating the claims and the allegations made by the KZN Provincial Commissioner, Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi, is continuing its work today. They're resuming their hearings, and there's a list of witnesses that has been lined up. So over the next few days, we're expecting to hear from Lieutenant General Khumbudzo Phahlane, Lieutenant General Dumisani Khumalo, let me just turn the page here, Ekurhuleni Police Deputy Chief, Julius Mkhwanazi, Robert McBride, Brown Mokgotse, and Paul O'Sullivan. So we'll take you to the ad hoc committee in the final hour of the show, just to re-establish contact with the work that committee is doing. And I must say, of course, this year there will be a lot happening. So we're going to be playing it by ear in terms of how we bring you coverage of the ad hoc committee. We know that the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry is going to be continuing its work later on this month. So it'll be a delicate balancing act, but we'll certainly try and ensure that you don't miss out on the crucial aspects of that testimony in both platforms as the year then gets underway. All right, so that's what's coming up on the show in the next 3 hours. It is your National Roundtable, your open line. I'll be taking your calls 086 000 2032 on the WhatsApp voice note line 0614 104 107.
When you train for results, you don't quit halfway. Earn up to 7.35% interest with a Nedbank Just Invest account. Access your money within 24 hours. Keep your money agile. Get money fit with Nedbank. See money differently. Nedbank. For more information, visit nedbank.co.za. We're licensed FSP and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
Aware, what's up? It's Jesse Suntele, and the new era starts on SABC2 with drama, excitement, you in the front seat, and me on the screen.
What if your child could achieve better academic results in 2026? At Teneo School, they can. Our smart school system tracks every learner in real time and helps teachers spot gaps early. The results? With over 3,500 successful Teneo School matriculants, learners improve their average marks by 12% in the first year. Access affordable private schooling, no restrictive entry, fees starting from 3,000 Rand per month. Enroll now for 2026 at teneoschool.co.za. That's TENEO school.co.za.
Call us on 086 000 2032.
All right, so let me start off this morning in Alberton. Lowered, good morning to you.
Good morning, Cathy.
Yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am. And I'm wishing you some
Thank you.
good. I want to talk about the fear which you experienced in
Yeah.
yes. Yes, Cathy, climate change. Phenomenon of climate change is upon us all, and it seems does not matter about the geographical case with the planning and this this rain. And then what I want to put here is online whether the architectural considerations being complied with some the business establishment, particularly in a place called Guyana. It's mentioned in Guyana in from that part.
Mm.
Yes, because as we my businesses, most of them are not water. And you wonder whether the considerations for place of one of the key problems we are experiencing in that part is concerning the traditional leaders who are partnering among themselves for the control of part of the area, not part of the area. And place is so uh, congested together. It cannot expand because the traditional leaders themselves, they are trying to control most part of the area. That is that look for a town like that to expand a little bit. And then lastly, I would like to check whether you guys you make some plans for NEC for in the sustainable sector, human settlement in particular, to check whether the government is busy with the intervention. Yeah, I can hear that there are disaster management and all that, but I've not heard from the horse mouth as to what intervention or measures are being put in place. Most villages are cut off from
Yeah.
accessing town.
Okay. All right. Lowered. Thanks for that contribution.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, out in Alberton. And we will try and see if we can bring an update on just what the impact of the floods has been. And that's always the challenge, right? When you're dealing with some of these areas that are rural areas that are basically on the outskirts of where you have your media centers, etc. It takes so long for information to flow. So we wake up once so much damage has been done. And that also becomes, I think, an area of improvement, even for us as people in the media, right? Because you don't have so many journalists that are in these areas. You don't have resources. You don't have infrastructure. So if you have a flood happening in Johannesburg, in Cape Town, you're going to have 5, 7 reporters bringing you live coverage. But if it's happening in rural areas in Mpumalanga, in rural areas in Limpopo, I mean, just think about the Hoedspruit area that crosses over into Limpopo. This is part of where these floods have hit. You're going to find that it takes long for newsrooms to make decisions about whether or not they're actually sending people out there. So we do rely also a lot on people who are in the areas to also speak about what is happening. I would encourage, if you're out in these areas that have been affected by the floods, call in, tell us what is happening, where help is needed, because without that, people simply will not know. That's part of the reality. People will not know. I'm not saying that the situation is right as it is. Absolutely, it needs to be changed. But within that system, what can we do to ensure that support gets to the places where it's needed the most? Nigel, you're out in Durban. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you, Cathy. I'm just thinking of what you were saying about, excuse me, are we actually seeing a car being run away in a deadline? You saw it. You saw it and heard it.
Yeah, Nigel, I was right there. I was right there. We saw it as it was driving up into the low-lying bridge. We saw it as, there were people on the other across the bridge that were trying to flag it down, because the difficulty is, because you can't control the flow of the current, the water is low enough for you to cross, but it actually isn't. So you've got to literally wait a long time before making a call about whether or not to cross. So so unfortunately, these guys decided the water looked like it was low enough, and just as they were coming in, there was a heavy current that came through, and
What a horrifying way to do, and a horrifying thing to be present at. Thank you for the explanation. Cathy, I wanted to ask whether there's been an official explanation for the failure to prosecute those whom the Zondo Commission found guilty of state capture, including the architect of state capture. Has there been an official explanation, or do we understand that President Ramaphosa is protecting powerful friends and colleagues, and he's doing so to protect himself? Well, what do we understand by the failure to know about prosecution?
And Nigel, I'm not saying that this is an answer, but let's go to the Nkabinde inquiry that was held in the last quarter of last year, and then having the National Director of Public Prosecutions, Shamila Betoy, give evidence.
Yes.
I think that much of what came out of the inquiry in terms of what it reveals about how things are being done in the NPA could perhaps help to answer that question. Don't you think?
Yes. Yes.
I mean,
I do.
should we be surprised that we have gotten as little results as we have, knowing what we know now?
Yes, how horrifying to have such inefficiency at the head of things.
It's incredulous, and it explains the failures. That yes, there have been issues that were inherited, but certainly there are serious questions about efficiencies that have been brought into the organization.
Yes.
Right from the top. If you have a leader that is unaccountable, then of course nothing is going to get done, because they don't believe they have to answer to anyone.
Yes. Do we understand that something is going to be done?
But Vincent Magwenya will have to answer that question. He's the spokesperson for the president. He'll have to answer that question, Nigel. But important for you to bring it up.
Good.
Thanks, all right, Nigel. Nigel is out in Durban. And part of the point that Nigel is highlighting is just how we're still stuck in the cycle. How many years now, guys? How many years? And how much longer? Is it going to be 2030? And we'll still be asking questions about, we once had a Zondo commission. What happened to those people? Is that what is now defining our execution of justice? It's 9:30. Let's take the latest news headlines.
Good morning, I'm Anne Musa. In the headlines, frustrated parents in Gauteng have called for the Provincial Education Department's online application system to be discontinued. This comes as the 2026 academic year officially kicked off this morning, while dozens of children are still not placed in schools. The Limpopo Education MEC says about 20 schools in the Vembe and Mopani districts will remain closed for the rest of the week due to severe weather conditions that have caused widespread flooding. And the Border Management Authority has called for urgent engagement with the Zimbabwean government after intercepting another group of undocumented Zimbabwean children attempting to illegally cross the South Africa-Zimbabwe border. I'll have details on these and other stories at 10.
You can become a victim of a legal problem. Wrongful arrest, assault, uncontested divorce, rental disputes, maintenance matters, or labor problems. It can happen to you. Clientele Legal provides tough professional lawyers for an affordable monthly premium. Our legal team is standing by to assist you 24 hours a day. Join today. SMS SAFM to 32195. That's SAFM to 32195. Clientele General is an authorized FSP and licensed non-life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
Yo, we are live. I'm Jones Tumahole. Join us on the Next Level telenovela on a new era of SABC2.
With the ever-changing financial landscape, it can be difficult to make sense of all the moves at times. Join me, Jimmy Moyaha, on the SAFM Market Update with MoneyWeb, Mondays to Thursdays, 6 to 7 p.m, as we break down the key market trends, top financial stories, and smart investment insights, all in one place. It's everything you need to stay financially informed and ahead of the curve.
#SAFM Talking Point.
Good morning, this is Cathy and SFM listeners. It's Sondi here. You know, as the citizens of this country, we may have, some complaints, disagreements, and dislikes about what the government is doing, in particular the government under President Cyril Ramaphosa. But there's a lot that this government is doing. Being removed from a high-risk list, financial list, is a huge thing. Being removed from a grey list, it's a huge thing. Having South Africa being re-elected after a run that they lost a seat, I think back in 2021 at the IMO Council, it's a huge thing. Having to have hosted, the G20, it's a huge thing for the country. It's just that we want tangible things, but there are some good things that are happening in this country, and maybe we won't see them now. We will realize all these things that are being done in the next administration.
That's Cathy. How are you? Good morning. I just want to wish every child going to school this year all of the best. May they be safe at school. May they enjoy and learn as much as possible. Enjoy making friends, play, have fun, respect their teachers, and get as much knowledge as they can from the RRR to the military. The same breath, I also want to plead to parents, especially content creators. Guys, please be mindful of other people when dropping off kids. Taking videos and doing your vlogs. We are trying to get to work as fast as we can. So having to wait for you to finish and that, just be mindful of other people. We don't mind you guys doing that, but be mindful of other people. Some parents are dropping off kids at two different schools. Thank you very much, guys.
Good morning, Katie. Anonymous here. I'm glad that we are bringing that Mafoko recruiting now. You know, my uncle used to work at Mafoko. I don't know how many years, but he has been there for 12 years. He was working at Dada's Morero's house. He was cutting the house there. He was cutting him, the family in the house every day. And he was not getting paid. Like he would just go for 4 months, 3 months, not getting paid. Ended up resigning. Even today, didn't get his and nothing. He's home now. He's sitting home now. I'm glad.
Good morning, Kathy. We've got a serious problem. 2 billion rand was lost in terms of building school. And that job was unfinished. Only 2 schools that are going to be handed today in Gauteng. The other one was started in five years ago. The other one was started 10 years ago. As you could understand that there are no schools around and the population is growing. Maybe it's time that some head must roll, including the premier, because you could understand even the Tembisa thing. It took them some time to resolve it. It's LG Magaga in Israel.
Call us on 086 000 2032.
Yeah, thank you for those WhatsApp voice notes. I mean, my jaw absolutely dropped when I read that story in the Sunday Times this weekend around just how much has gone into building infrastructure that has just never been completed. And it was a big drive, the drive to build new schools when Banyaza Lesufi was MEC of education. So it is absolutely worth looking into because there's no way that that money has just gone unaccounted for. And part of the reasons that are given is that it's service providers that have abandoned their sites, have abandoned the construction sites. They had cash flow issues. These are things that you look at as part of your due diligence before you even give a contractor, before you give anybody a contract, right? To ensure that they're going to be able to deliver on the project. So, how is it that they have been able to start projects? And can we also see the full audit of what it is that they've started? How much money went into it before they stopped? Because with 1 billion rand, surely you should have a lot more schools by now than what we are counting. If 1 billion rand has already gone down, the commitment I saw there was that there was going to be further budget allocations so that some of these projects can resume and they can continue to build these schools. But we're just so careless. It's like, yeah, 1 billion rand down the drain. Like it's nothing. Like it's just, oh, there goes another billion. Just like that. No, man. Colin, you're in Cape Town. Good morning.
Good morning, Cathy. Good morning. Cathy,
Yes.
I hope you can help me with this confused mind of mine. Matric results. Minister of Education gave us the result of the top provinces. All 9 provinces.
Yes.
But what confuses me in the last 2 days now, there's quite a few matriculants that have been interviewed on the radio and classed as the number 1 student in South Africa. Like this morning, yesterday, there was a guy had got 11 distinctions out of 11 subjects. They had him on the radio, on your sister radio. And this morning, they had another girl from George, I think, Annika Kok or something. She's now the highest in the country. So I'm confused now. And I think you had on your station, yesterday I was listening, you interviewed somebody that was also classed as the best student in the country. So where can one find out who is the top student of each province, male and female, boy and girl, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Take our minds at risk. Everybody
is a top learner.
Yes, I'm the top learner. Now, please get it right. And get the 9 provinces, man. Yeah, if you can.
So Colin,
On the radio. Send you a big job. Okay. I'll leave it to label. Thanks.
Colin, I understand your confusion. So the results evening that the minister hosts, right, is to honor those that her department is acknowledging. And yes, some of them are the best, the top learners in the country, but you've got to pay attention to what else follows. Because sometimes it's in particular subjects. Sometimes they've...
Yes, that's what I was going to say.
Exactly. And then the provinces are going to come out and then they'll release their top learners. So you'll see yesterday we had the top learner for the Free State under the quintile 3 schools.
Yeah, that's a guy. Yeah,
Yes, then
yeah.
you'll have a top learner for quintile 1, 2, and 4
Oh,
because you've got the 4 quintiles, right? And then you'll
yeah.
have the overall winner or the overall top performer amongst them all. Part of it is to recognize, Colin, that these young people, a learner in a quintile 1 school and a quintile 4 school, are having very different experiences, right? Because one is probably going to a no-fee school, while the other is going to what would be a former Model C school, etc., etc. So the access to resources, their environments are completely different. And I think it's really just for officials to recognize what they're doing, because you find that a learner the top performing learner in a quintile 1 school might not have the same results as
Yeah.
somebody in a quintile 4 school, but they still
Mm.
deserve to be, given a
Recognized. Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
pat on the
Yeah.
back.
Yeah. Yeah.
If
Yeah.
the
Of course.
provinces
Yes.
then will release those lists, and that's for the National Senior Certificate. Then you have your IEB, which is the Independent Examinations Board. This is where a lot of the private schools then
That's right.
will be situated, and then they will have their top learners. But often what you find with these schools is that they will release their independent schools, the independent names of how learners in their schools have performed. So that's why then you'll see statements coming from one school talking about these are our top learners, and another school saying these are our top learners, and they might not be on the list, on the provincial list of top learners, not because they haven't done well, but because they weren't part of the National Senior Certificate program. And I actually haven't seen awards for IEB students. They don't have sort of a collective recognition that takes place at a national or provincial level, which is why then schools will do a lot of that marketing on their own. So the learner who would have 11 distinctions, it's the school that would have been putting that information out there and wanting people to know how well the student did, and just how good their education is, of course, is part of the message that comes with it. I hope I've answered your question, Colin.
Yeah. Yeah. Because this guy yesterday he had a double barrel name. Well, Afrikaans name. I can't recall where it came from, and I had him on the radio. 11 distinctions out of 11 subjects.
Yeah.
Aggregate 98.4.
Sure. Yeah.
And this girl this morning had 92.6.
Sure.
Right?
Brilliant.
From George. So I still say, yeah.
Yeah.
I think the DA needs to pat on the back. Western Cape.
Colin, you are reaching. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Hi, Bo. Guys, this is how you know it's an election year. I never thought I'd hear Colin doing some campaigning there. Colin, I know your colors now. Kirk, you're in Cape Town. Good morning.
Good morning, Cathy. That was a good plug from my fellow Cape Townian Colin there. Happy New Year, Cathy.
Thank you.
Thank you. Cathy, I wanted to comment on the matric results. I was thinking for the last few years regarding the 33% pass rate, whatever that is, and lamenting those standards of bar that we set for our matriculants. And yesterday I thought maybe I need to change and ask the question, or maybe the education department must themselves the question. What is the end goal of matriculation? Is it preparing students for life, preparing students for a job place, for a career? What are we actually trying to achieve? If it is linked to the economic needs of the country, then why don't we see that evidence in subject choice being offered? I know that there are specialized schools and that there are specialized programs within certain schools, but I'm not convinced that it is producing matriculants who are ready to assist the growth of South Africa where we need the growth to take place. So producing people who are going to go to become physiotherapists, for example, or accountants, whatever career choice they decide, is that the end goal of where industry and the economy needs those things in 3 or 4 years' time? I wonder if that exercise has ever been done by an education department or by a business forum somewhere in South Africa. I'm not so sure.
You know, Kirk, when we look at the critical skills list that is released in relation to our country and what it is that the economy requires, I think that part of the conversation, as you're putting it, needs the education department to continuously be aligning the offering in schools to that critical skills list. Because as long as there isn't that alignment, what you're talking about is going to continue. And the question is not so much about what is the pass, but it is about what does the certificate enable one to do? What does it give you access to? And as long as we're seeing this divorce between skills and what a matric is, then we're almost fighting a losing battle. And one always gets the impression that these conversations seem to be happening in isolation. So you would expect that a young person who has matriculated would have skills, let's say, to use Microsoft, Word, Excel, no. Why? Because these are all things that are used in the workplace, and they give you an opportunity, an entryway into the workplace at a very, very low level. But because that's not happening, you now have young people having to go pay thousands of rand to learn how to use Word, to learn how to use Excel, just so that they're able to position themselves to actually get jobs. So what you're saying is really at the heart of what we need to be looking at as a country when it comes to how we are repurposing our education system.
Yes. And there definitely is a gap, or the government has many gaps, but in the education department, there's definitely a gap between what we are producing and what the work sector within the economy require. And the only way I think to bridge that gap is for industry and sectors within the economy to embrace the education department. I mean, a typical example is the farms, old farm schools. Schools that would teach you how to be a farmer. Now, I'm not talking about farming colleges. I'm talking about schools. I remember way back when there were subjects that were offered
agricultural
that would set you
schools.
up to. Correct.
Yes.
So are those still in existence, and what are they producing?
No.
If we're sending our farmers to the USA, are they dealing with all those skills and there's nobody left behind? I'm not convinced that government is doing enough. And it's also the statistics that show our graduates, our unemployed graduates. I've never seen any report of which sectors those graduates fall into.
Yeah.
And if we continue to produce those graduates who are after 5 years are still unemployed, are we not failing our country? And that's in the whole exercise.
You know, Kirk, it speaks to intentionality, right? And what you're saying, we're seeing it happen in the higher education sector, where industry is coming in to universities and TVET colleges and saying these are the skills that we need. And there's an intentional partnering up with certain institutions to help produce these skills. Because industry then also is able to bring in the expertise, especially in some of your very heavily mechanized industry where, it's not easy for just any lecturer to sort of take the subject and teach you. If you're working with nuts and bolts, you need people that understand what they're dealing with in these very technical fields. And I think if we see that happening at a school level, perhaps it'll solve part of the problem, Kirk. But what you're saying is absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. Okay.
And Cathy, this is a thing that can be sorted if we take like a 3-year or 5-year period, identify those things that are needed, and then get those programs into place. That could make a very big difference in the outputs
Okay.
of
All
a
right.
student.
Kirk, thank you so much for that contribution. Yeah, and I remember there was a time when there was a push for maths and science. Everybody must take maths and science. Yes, it went a bit to the extreme, right? Because now if you didn't have maths and science, you're made to feel like you're stupid and you're not going to go anywhere in life. But now we're on the other end of the extreme. There's very little talk about your STEM subjects. There's very little push for investing and resourcing in STEM subjects. So we're on the other side of the pendulum now. How do we find that good middle point that really ensures that, we're giving opportunity, not only for the economy to grow, but for these young people who are coming out of school with this hope? Lebo says, it's influences in Amapiano. Yeah, Lebo, that has a place. It has a place, but we can't all be influencers. We can't be. We love to dance as a nation, but it's not going to help us pay all of our bills.
Then on SABC radio stations at 7 p.m. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport, the official broadcaster. It's game on everywhere.
You can become a victim of a legal problem: wrongful arrest, assault, uncontested divorce, rental dispute. Authorized FSP and licensed non-life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
Call us on 086 000 2032.
All right, you're listening to The Talking Point. I'm still taking your calls on the National Roundtable. 086 000 2032 is the number to dial. On the WhatsApp voice note line, 0614 104 107. Sintu, you're in Midrand. Good morning, Sintu. Hello.
Okay.
Hello, Sintu.
Yes, compliments.
Yes, sir. Compliments of the new year.
Yes. No, don't worry today. And secondly, I will come to your students and not invited. Don't continue anymore. Will come to your students invited.
Hey, be careful. So we don't have much more for security here at the SABC. I'm joking. I don't know. Please don't quote me on that.
Thank you. Okay. Hospital, my mother went there and hear me.
Yes, Sintu?
Yes, my mother went there
we're putting the spotlight on the private security industry, and we are focusing very intentionally on Mafoko security. So last year we had a focus on the industry. We did a number of shows that really were not only bringing the plight of security workers into the spotlight, but it was trying to understand what is it that they are exposed to, what are the challenges that they're facing in the industry, but also what is the industry body saying? And that was also off the back of what we see as a high proliferation of guns in South Africa, and the security industry being seen as one of the main conduits of these of these arms, and the regulations around that. How is CIRA monitoring that? So that was a series we did last year. Coming out of that, Mafoko Security consistently came up as a company that was being accused of really treating workers badly. And we raised it with the industry body as well. They committed to coming back onto the show to give us an update that they were going to look into Mafoko and look into the allegations that were being made on air by security guards that have worked for them. Some of them had left their employ. We have reached out to CIRA, despite their commitment to coming back on air to give an update. They are now avoiding us. So they're basically blue ticking us. And it's uncalled for. CIRA, what you're doing is uncalled for. You gave a commitment on air to take up certain issues that had been raised that relate to the security industry. The least you can do is honor that commitment and come and give answers and account to the people of South Africa. So it's unacceptable that you have decided that you are now no longer going to say anything. You don't get to not say anything. You are the industry body. If you are quiet, then who must speak? Who must bring clarity to the challenges that people are facing in the industry? You are also the body responsible for issuing some of the licenses, for ensuring that those that have licenses are compliant. So if you are quiet, then who must answer questions? Pick up on the story from there, but they are refuting the allegations of 1 billion rand basically just disappearing, going missing, not being accounted for while projects are stalling. So that's an important update for me to share with you, because it has dropped in my inbox. All right, let's take some of your WhatsApp voice notes and then we get into Citizens Corner shortly.
Good as Cathy and your SA listeners. Cathy, yes, the matric percentage looks good. That 88 point what it's good, looks good. And congratulations to all of you. But now, my worry, Cathy, is on our higher institution. Do we have enough spaces for those students as South Africa? Yes, they will be told that they must go to TVET colleges if they can't space in universities. But even those TVET colleges, they can take who? They can take up to so much. Not all. So my worry is, honestly, are they all going to find spaces within our institutions? All those who pass for this year. Concerned citizen, Ematatiel.
Good morning, Cathy. Nigel talks about the architect of state capture. the NPA can't prosecute what he refers to as who he refers to as the architect of state capture, because nobody presented any evidence, let alone prosecutable evidence, of wrongdoing on the part of that so-called architect of state capture. Not a single inch of evidence. So naturally, you can't expect the NPA to prosecute just because you say they must prosecute.
Cathy, compliment of the season. As long as we still have tenders, corruption is not going anywhere. So until the situation changes around, and no matter how how frustrated we can get, we can talk about billions and billions. This thing is not going anywhere. So South Africans, ANC needs to be flushed. Just like when you flush the toilet. That's what needs to happen. Thank you.
Hi, good morning, Katie, and your producer, and all the listeners of SAFM. Katie, I like to say shout out to the teachers. You know, the teachers, Katie, is doing a great job, like serious, and the government, they must supposed to give them more money because it's doing a great job. To be a teacher, Katie, is not something that you can take for granted. All of us, most as a graduate, we are where we are now because of teachers. So the job of teachers, like, I don't know, man, Katie, like, I don't know what must I say, but I've got so many words that I can say about teachers. It's doing a great job, like, really. Pick up all the teachers of this country. Sia from Cape Town. Thank you.
Three-time champions, the Super Eagles, mean business while searching for their fourth title. But the Atlas Lions are confident red and green will dominate green and white. This is the Total Energies Africa Cup of Nations Morocco 2025. Witness the semi-final meeting between Nigeria and Morocco this Wednesday, 14 January.
They were focusing on the security industry, in particular, the exploitation of security guards that has been documented in certain news articles, where security guards who work for Mafoko Security have been raising alarm over their ill treatment within that particular organization. These are allegations that have also been raised on our platform, and it seems that the problems at Mafoko continue without very clear answers around how they're going to be solved. We did reach out to Mafoko Security to give them an opportunity to be part of this conversation, but they declined. So let me welcome onto the show Funzi Ngobeni, who is Action SA's Gauteng chairperson. Funzi, good morning to you.
Good morning, Cathy, and good morning to the listeners of SAFM.
Frederick Mabasa is the national organizer, security industry at the National Union of Metal Workers of South Africa. Frederick, good morning to you.
Good morning, Catherine. How are you? And how are you in compliment of the news?
Thank you so much, Frederick. Later, we'll be joined by Jack Bloom, who is the DA's Shadow MEC for Health in Gauteng. And then we'll also be joined by a security guard who will be telling us his story, having worked for that organization and now subsequently fired. He was positioned at the George Mukari Hospital. So just last week then, further reports emanating of Mafoko security guards not being paid their December salaries. And these security guards are positioned at important sites in the country. They're positioned at national key points. They're positioned within the public sector at hospitals, as I've mentioned, and other sensitive public sites. Frederick, let me perhaps start with you because you have been working on the issues emanating out of Mafoko for a long time now. Speak to us about what makes them stand out because with the series that we did last year, what became clear is that there are issues concerning a number of companies within the security industry. But Mafoko is always prominent in those conversations. Why is it?
Okay, thanks, Katie. I must say that the reason why always Mafoko is on the news is because they are the one who are leading other security companies in terms of non-compliance. I will explain the reason why I'm saying this. There is a bargaining council in the country that regulates the working conditions of all security workers. Mafoko Security, together with other security companies, they decided not to recognize a bargaining council. And Mafoko Security is the only company that was leading all other security companies to make sure that they don't comply with the bargaining council in terms of paying the correct basic salaries and so forth. Now, today we are stuck with Mafoko Security because they are getting contracts from government and they always not pay employees on time. Sometimes they will choose the site or the province where they will start paying employees on time. The other group of people in other provinces, they don't pay them the salaries on time. So as union, NUMSA, together with other unions, we have been engaging with Mafoko and trying to understand as to why are they not paying employees their salaries on time. And when we ask them to clarify, they keep on telling us that, look, they have got financial issues. But when we said, share with us what are those challenges that makes you not to pay salaries on time, they don't specify which client is giving them a problem and so forth. So the issue of Mafoko, it has been going on for a very long time. There was a time whereby, as NUMSA, in particular myself, I wrote a letter to them. I even wrote a letter to one of their clients called AXA, Airport Company South Africa, asking them to AXA to intervene because always members were embarking on unprotected strike because of the late payment of the salaries. But unfortunately, AXA management, they promised to intervene, but there was a time whereby they were no longer being available when we asked to meet with them. So that is the problem that we are experiencing. And some employees, they don't enjoy the benefits that are there in the security industry. So it's true that Mafoko, it's a problem, but it's not Mafoko alone. There are so many companies that are there. I will make an example with other security, one security company called Mjaeli Security that was guarding Transnet around Gauteng, Northwest, Free State, and Northern Cape. The employees there, they were terminated last year through a Section 189, which is a retrenchment. 1,400 employees were terminated in October last year. Up until today, those workers did not receive their salaries for the month of October, their packages, their retrenchment packages. We are talking about 1,400 employees, and the rent value for that those monies that are owed to employees is more than 50 million rand. So it's a problem that we are getting almost every day as trade unions.
And again, it just highlights the lack of compliance, but also regulation of the industry. Seems like it's easy for people to not do what is expected and get away with it, Frederick.
The Bargaining Council compel all companies to comply fully with the Bargaining Council. But in South Africa, Katie, we have got around 23,000 registered security companies. And if you go to Bargaining Council today and check as to how many security companies that are registered with the Bargaining Council, it's less than 5,000 security companies that are registered. In terms of the total employees that are employed in the industry, we are talking about up close to 1 million security officers. But officers that are registered with the Bargaining Council who are fully complying, it's around 400,000 security officers. So we have got around 600,000 security officers that are not enjoying the benefits in the bargaining in the industry, and their employers, they are not complying. The question that you need to ask as to what is it that we are doing in addressing this issue. You will recall since 2024, maybe you heard on the news, as unions, we have been marching to different provinces, different premiers' offices to hand over a memorandum and ask the government to terminate all security companies that are doing business with government that are not complying. We have been in Northern Cape, we have been in Bulfontein. Last year, in November, we were in Limpopo. We even went to National Treasury, KZN, all the provinces. Yes, we are getting a slight improvement in other provinces. For example, in KZN. KZN, they had more than 65 companies that are registered that are doing business with government. Now, at least a few companies, they have starting to comply with the Bargaining Council. So, yeah, that is the problem that we are experiencing. But what is more painful is that after we marched to Limpopo Premier's office, Popira Matuba, we were called in a meeting in the first week of December. We met with the senior staff in the office of Premier. We asked the security workers who are guarding the office of Premier if their company is complying or not. To our surprise is that the company that is guarding Premier's office is not complying. Provident funds are being deducted, not being sent to the fund.
Sure.
Health insurance monies are being deducted, not sent to Affinity Health that is there to help them when they get sick and so forth. So it's really painful what is going on in the country.
Frederick, thank you for that context that you have laid, and there are a number of things that I would want us to pick up on. Joining the conversation is Jack Bloom of the DA in Gauteng. Jack, I know that you can't be with us for long, so let me give you an opportunity then to speak to some of these issues around Mafoko security. But as we're hearing, it extends even beyond that. But I guess the part of the reason why Mafoko is also a focal point is because they seem to have very significant contracts with the government.
Yes, they have huge security contracts, particularly with the Gauteng Health Department, but also the Gauteng Provincial Legislature, where I'm actually speaking to you from at this moment, is also guarded from them. And, they haven't been paid their December salaries. But with regard to Gauteng hospitals, there's been scandals after scandals with security contracts with Gauteng hospitals. In my view, it's gone up more than 3 times over the last 5 years, and I think it's very suspicious. I think there's corruption involved, and I think they're exploiting the workers. They get paid about 25,000 Rand a month for each security guard, but if you ask guards at the hospitals, they'll tell you they're being paid probably 6,000 Rand, and we don't even know if they're employing as many guards as they claim they should be employing. And in the case of Mafoko, they have a 60 million Rand contract with annual contract with the Dr. George Macquarie Hospital, and constant complaints there. And of course, there's been a High Court judgment regarding the payments. There's controversy at the moment about paying over of their Provident Fund money. If you don't pay over money set aside for Provident Fund, that's actually a criminal offence. So I asked the Gauteng Health Department, because there's constant problems with late payment, non-payment, alleged non-payment of Provident Fund money. What are they going to do with it? Not just Mafoko. I think there's other security companies involved as well. And the Gauteng Health Department, yes, they've got an agreement with them, and they said amazingly they didn't know anything about this current High Court judgment, which I think is astonishing, but I alerted it to them, and they claim that they're going to enforce the contract with Mafoko specifically, and other companies that I've raised with them about specifically this issue about paying over Provident Fund money and also paying their workers on time. Now, I asked these questions 3 months ago in the Gauteng legislature, and it doesn't seem to me that it's being fixed up and taken serious enough by the Gauteng Health Department. So what I would like to see is an overhaul of all these security contracts. I think we need to get ethical companies, just make sure that it's above board, and that from a Gauteng Health point of view, that there's value for money. It's paying a huge amount for. It's gone up, it's triple. The amount spent in hospital security company has gone up 3 times in the last 5 years. I don't think it's justified by conditions on the ground. It seems to me that it's a rip-off and that people are making money out of it. And in fact, they're not even paying their workers.
Jack, I'm going to pause it there. If you're able to if you can just hang on for an extra 5 minutes for me, because there's 1 or 2 things I want to pick up on, particularly around George Mkhari, but it's time for me to head over to the news desk for the latest headlines.
Thank you, Cathy. On the news headlines on SAFM, I am Onde Lambana, and a very good morning. Gauteng police say they are investigating a number of incidents involving initiation schools in the file following the death of 4 initiates at different initiation schools. A man from Fala Park on the K flats has been shot and killed last night. Police spokesperson Wesley Twig says the victim was shot multiple times, and parents queuing outside the Gauteng Department of Education's district office in Morningside, Johannesburg, have expressed dissatisfaction with the department's learner placement process. A full update for us at the top of the hour.
Taking a look at your markets this morning, the rand is currently trading at 16 rand 35 to the dollar, 21 rand 96 to the pound, and 19 rand 04 to the euro. Markets in Asia were mainly higher at the closing bell. The JCE is mixed during mid-morning trade. Markets in Europe are higher this hour. Gold is trading at $4,632, platinum $2,395 per ounce. The price of Brent crude oil is at $65.02 a barrel.
Hashtag SAFM Talking Point.
We continue with our Citizens Watch this morning, and the spotlight was shining on the security industry and zooming in on Mafoko Security in particular, following the latest bout of allegations being leveled against them. Funzi Ngobeni is the Action SA Gauteng chairperson. Frederick Mabasa is the national organizer, security industry at NUMSA. And Jack Bloom is the DA Shadow MEC for Health in Gauteng. So Jack, let me pick up with you and talk about George Mkhari Hospital, where you say that Mafoko Security has a 60 million rand contract to provide security there. When there've been issues that the security workers at George Mkhari had been raising, not only around their conditions of employment, but just the difficulties that they're having when they try to have these matters attended to by Mafoko. Several of those security guards have been fired by Mafoko Security. Is this something that you're aware of? And what needs to happen when the situation is like this? Because surely a company can't operate, treat people badly, and expect that they're going to keep quiet and just take the abuse.
Well, you're absolutely correct. I've had security guards contact me directly, and I'm aware about late payments, non-payments, and this issue about paying over the Provident Fund. I think the root of the problem is that the Gauteng Health Department is not sufficiently rigorous when they do the selection process for their contracts. And to be frank, I do suspect corruption. You know, the previous security contracts were awarded in 2016. They were supposed to be for a 2-year period. And then there was an investigation which found that they were awarded irregularly. So instead of cancelling them after 2016, which was supposed to be a 2-year period, so even then they would have expired by 2018. Gauteng Health Department rolled them over month by month, can you believe it, for up till about 2 years ago. And the Auditor General complained about it all the time. And it just shows me, it just shows you how corrupt the whole thing is, that they kept rolling over these irregularly awarded contracts. So after a lot of pressure on the Auditor General complaining about irregular expenditure, they re-awarded, they opened up the process to re-award contracts, and the budget exploded. So it went up 3 times. And to me, in a hospital like Johannesburg Hospital, they're spending 73 million rand a year on hospital security. Chris Hani Baragwanath Hospital spending 78 million rand just on security. 5 years ago, Charlotte Nkeke Hospital was spending only 30 million rand a year. Suddenly it's sort of doubled and tripled. And I find that highly suspicious. They've justified it because they say they have to pay the guards extra, that the rate has gone up. But as I said to you earlier, they're being paid roughly 25,000 rand per guard. If you work out, you divide the number of workers by what they're being paid. And the guards are getting nowhere near that. And it seems that this is the way that the companies are making their money, is that they're ripping off the Gauteng Health Department, they're ripping off the guards, and not providing a decent service, because you can't provide a decent service if your workers are not happy, and they're certainly not happy. And the Gauteng Health Department now claims that they do have oversight on it. They used to say, look, we've hired a contractor, and we don't have any control over their working conditions of workers, but they now claim that part of the new contract was that they do have oversight over how they treat their workers. But the fact that this has been going on for so long, that the Gauteng Health Department has ignored it for so long, and I do have it in writing now, because I got a reply to a written question of mine that said, yes, we are going to act with regard to Mafoko. They said they were going to write to Mafoko Security and ask them about this. I would think they should do something stronger than that. But here we are in the new year, many workers still not paid, lots of people very upset about whether the Provident Fund money has been paid over or not. That's a criminal offence if you haven't paid it over. So in the case of the Gauteng Health Department, also the Gauteng Provincial Legislature, where they haven't been paid, clearly this company is not doing its obligations. And I think, quite frankly, criminal charges need to be laid if necessary, and it seems it is justified. And their contract needs to be reviewed. Why are we paying huge amounts of money for them to guard hospitals, also the Gauteng Provincial Legislature itself, to a company that's behaving so unethically with regard to its workers?
Okay. Jack, thank you for that contribution. Jack Bloom there of the DA. Funzi, you as Action SA believe that part of the answer to this problem must be around insourcing. Listening to the numbers that Jack Bloom was running through, this is clearly big money. I mean, just based on the work that Mafoko has in Gauteng alone, could easily reach half a billion rand.
Yeah, no, absolutely, Cathy. No, I've been listening to my colleagues, and I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, this is exactly why outsourcing is broken. When something goes wrong, the company disappears. Government will say, no, it's a contract issue, and the workers, and and it is our view, listening to Jack, and we appreciate the oversight he's doing and that he has been doing over the years. But we are of the view, Cathy, that oversight without structural change only means that we will be here again next year with another unpaid worker, and workers are right to be angry, but we are also of the view that anger alone doesn't fix the system, and we think that insourcing is how we're going to turn that anger into justice, because indeed we have been calling for municipal government across the country, and we're calling for the provincial government and the national government to insource security guards and cleaners in particular, because we are of the view that in many instances with regards to security guards, we don't need specialized skills. And in the event that there is a need for specialized skills, that part of the work can still be outsourced. But really looking after our buildings, looking after the boom gates, and ensuring that the entrances are guarded, we can do that with our workers, that we can be able to pay them on time, that we can ensure that they get the benefits that they deserve, but most importantly that they are able to get the dignity that they so deserve. Some of the security guards, and Cathy, they have been working in these institutions for many years. What they have seen is companies coming and going, and most of those companies treating them really with disdain and with unfairness of the highest order. And we are of the view that time for talking about oversight and talking about this and that, it's over, because I agree with the union leader there that Mafoko is not just the company that is giving us the problem. The problem is the system that keeps recycling this same kind of companies into public contracts. Yes, Mafoko keeps coming up because outsourcing allows it. Their contract keeps extending, and if you dig deep and you try to find out who they are linked to, this Mafoko and other security, you'll actually find that they are probably linked to senior officials, and they're linked to certain politicians, so that they then get kickbacks when this company starts ill-treating the official. I mean, what is the reason for Mafoko when they won a tender that says pay a security guard 20,000 per month, and then they go out and pay that security guard 6,000, and they pocket the rest of the money? It's injustice. It's criminal. And the point you made at the beginning, Cathy, it actually confirms our view, because you raised an issue of security, because some of these institutions are key point institutions in the country. And you can imagine an unhappy security guard, the one that goes home every time and has to explain to the family why they are bringing so little money when they are working all these hours. It demoralizes them. It actually makes them even dangerous for government itself. So it's something that is structural. It can only be resolved by structural change, and the structural change that we are proposing is insourcing of the security guard.
In the absence of insourcing as a solution being taken up by the government, what other solutions do you think are possible within the current framework?
Look, insourcing is possible, Cathy. It is the solution. I don't see any other solutions. We are doing oversight. We are asking right questions. We are asking, government to hold these companies accountable. But every day, we are talking about more food.
So sorry to come in there, Fonzi. So if you had a situation where there was perhaps more being done to attend to concerns. So if you have a company like Mafoko that, as you can hear from Jack Bloom, he's taken up in council, and there are all of these steps that people can point to. Frederick has been talking about how he took it up through different platforms, but at every point there's just no response. So there's lack of accountability. There's no will to actually hold the company accountable. If that was different, do you think that the situation would be better?
Cathy, can I clarify something in assisting you on this?
Yes,
question?
Go ahead.
The security industry are being regulated by CIRA. One may ask a question as to where is CIRA in this case? Allow me to say that as unions, we met with CIRA on the 25th of June in KZN last year, after we marched to Premier's office in Pietermaritzburg to hand over a memorandum complaining about the same issues. What we said with CIRA was that CIRA, when the company want to renew their license, the company must provide a certain information that will make them to get the license get renewed. The first issue was that they need to provide the proof that employees are being registered with the Provident Fund, and the total number of employees are the same number of employees that are registered with the bargaining Provident Fund should be the same with the one that will be registered with the Bargaining Council, health insurance, SARS, and UIF. Now, CIRA agreed to say, in principle, they are going to send out a memorandum of understanding so that we'll enter into that agreement between labor unions, the Bargaining Council, and CIRA. Because if we don't fix this, if CIRA don't come forward and address this thing, we'll continue to have this particular problem going forward. If a security officer gets arrested and end up having a criminal record, CIRA will not renew the license of that security worker. But CIRA continue to renew the licenses of all security companies that are doing wrong things. Yes, I agree with the view of insourcing some of security officers, but what about other companies that may not be able to insource? What are we saying to them? CIRA is the one who's supposed to help us to resolve this issue by making sure that they don't renew a license of any security company that is not complying, because their licenses, it's valid for 12 months. How did Mafoko get license last year, knowing very well that they are not complying? How did other security companies get their license in 2025? We know in 2026 their licenses is going to be renewed while they are doing the wrong thing. So CIRA, one way or the other, need to help accountable or responsible for this.
So why do you think CIRA keeps doing this?
Look, we don't know why CIRA they don't want to come forward. We are the one who asked a meeting with them. They promised to come back to us as labor unions together with Bargaining Council in order to sign a memorandum of understanding or agreement. Up until today, they did not come back to us. So this is the problem that we are facing. And of course, we will be meeting with some of other unions on the 20th next week on Tuesday, formulating the wage demands for the upcoming wage negotiations for security workers. And we need to come up with a way forward as unions to say we need to go and confront CIRA again, because this problem will keep on coming again.
Let me bring in some of our listeners to contribute to this conversation. Before I do that, Funzi, is there something that you may have wanted to add?
Yeah, no, Cathy, I was going to say, look, there are a number of things, and I'm happy that the union leader has outlined from the side of CIRA. But we are saying in the current contracts that are there, government can do much to protect workers. The government must build into this contract that guarantee workers are paid directly if the company fails to pay them. Not weeks later, but they must be paid immediately. Government can still, ensure that there are stronger penalties. Any company that pays late must lose the contract and be blacklisted from public work. There must be monitoring, obviously, that needs to happen. I don't know. This contracts, are they performance-based contracts? How workers are treated is not counting as part of that performance-based contract. But the honest truth, Katie, is that all these things are damage control measures. The real solution for us is insourcing, because as long as we continue to outsource the dignity of our workers, you will always be chasing crisis after crisis instead of preventing them.
All right. Let me bring on a Magamu. Magamu, you are one of the individuals who were stationed at George Mukari Hospital under Mafoko security. You have been raising concerns around working conditions there. Just very briefly, speak to us about what it is that you were experiencing and the issues that you were raising with your employer at the time, which is Mafoko Security.
Yes. Yes, Cathy?
Yes, Makamu? Did you hear my question?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I was working at George Mukari Hospital in Karankuwa, and I was under Mafoko Security Company. Ne? If you remember, Cathy, I always complaining with this thing. After all, they started to target me that I am the influencer. And then when we are not getting paid, when we complain, you are going to be fired. You are subject to go to a hearing, and they fire you. And they fire a lot of people. And because of what? They put their relatives and everything, because they hear the rumor that the security officers, they are going to be insourced there at George Mukari. And they fire a lot of people. They put their own people from vendor. They take their relatives and everything. And other thing, I write a letter to them complaining as anonymous. I don't know which inspired them to target me all over. They say I'm wrong because I was not afraid to tell everything to the manager and everything. After all, when they fire me, they were not want to give me my papers for UIF. They were used to deduct my money, about 1,000 something. Ya SARS, kati ayiko SARS, provident fund, baba deduct about 457 every month. Ayi ake check amona bari ayi yo chelete ewe, and since 2022, about deduct chelete ewe ya the provident fund about 457. One of the day kabona ko pay sleeping una union bari kau irinkela di 50 rand mara area joina nna ka itsa investigation ka fonela batho ba kau bari ba tlotla ko George Mukari mara aga ba botso le ska buo re ke makamo ke tsebore ba ka ba buile ba mpimpa na ba tla batho ba kau tlele ntato mongwe ba re ke balloon ha tla mola amfonela re mo gate ka tswa ka ya ko gate ka bua le bona ka likhoneni ha ke bua ka bona ka likhoneni ba re bona ba ya go bua le magadi o re bona ba tsebisilo o kantwe ha ba nye go joina magadi ba tlo joina ba hani ba na le client from Mafoko company ba bitsa batho ba la ba managera bene nka se ba tshoka mabitso batho ba la ba fonela headquarter go Hatfield ha ba fonela headquarter ya batho ba le ska ba rumella ba kene ba ba thibela jwalo bo la bana ba ba go explain hore na re nke ditšhelete tsa lona ha re kuro re company e nka ditšhelete tsa lona ka lebitso la rona a re ane re na le di-client o tswa ko Mafoko. You understand? Ke yona no ba target until they fire me because they put their relatives, because ba re tla ba le enforcement ko George Mukari. And the thing I want to help, I need my provident fund money and my money which they're deducting for the union which I didn't join, and the charity I 1,000 every month ba rinka ba re ba isa SARS ba fa SARS kile SARS ba ri company tsona e tlisa number e nngwe ba re ke IBR what ha ke ba fonela mola ba re na re na yona number IBR re fuwa ka batho ba bangwe ya ba re file re tla ufa ene ke maka ntwe ba e buao ene ke kule
guest how come the company which is not complying get the tenders from the government, whereas they are not complying? They work all over, even legislature. They are not paying the workers. This government of ours, they are failing us. From 2024 kibwali wena kataba air security mara ari una mo barinkela otho kurori una le batho ba etapili ba jali yona company e.
Sure.
Yeah, Cathy, I need your help. Watsiba ke rula kibwali wena of the time ke kupa thuso li no ki ruti mo mkukuni ke safari abana baka abasaya liskolo ko libompo chelete yaka ijiwe itsamaile ona no ki ruti batho ba bereka ko George Mkhari ba ruta ba le enforcement bankali relatives sabona uri batho ba Kenya mo ba bereke for government. It's a corruption like the city of Johannesburg when they insource the security officers. A lot of people they've been insourced whereas they are not beneficiaries. Mara, we have a government which is not committed to its people. Corruption is killing our country. Cathy. I'm telling by it.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Look, Ntate Makamo, I understand, your frustration because you are now living, in the consequences of the actions of the security company, and their inability to respond to worker complaints, their inability to be compliant. For those that didn't understand, Makamo was stationed at George Mukhari Hospital, and he's just been detailing the abuse that they took on as workers, not being paid on time, having all of these deductions being made, raising other issues around conditions of employment that went ignored. And when he started to raise these issues, he was identified as the troublemaker and ultimately fired. And he also says that they're now firing, or they fired many other security guards due to speculation that they will be insourcing at George Mukhari Hospital. So they're putting in some of their relatives, family members. And he basically is saying the reason why he believes Makamo Security gets away with what they're doing is because they have connections with people that are powerful. Anonymous, you're in Boksburg. Good morning.
Morning, Cathy. Thank you for bringing this industry in the public. You know what? I need to talk about this industry at large, not only Mafoko. I heard that you talk about Mafoko especially. But the issue here is about the whole industry, my sister. You know what? This thing, it cannot be corrected by now. And then the one who should correct this thing is the minister itself, because we are suffering as a securities. I'm talking to you, I'm a substitute where I'm working right now. We've been in and out in that bargaining council. The bargaining council is for the capitalists. I must say that. Because if you are a worker, you will suffer in this country. SIRA also is involved in that. Because, you know what? I'll give, for example, you know what? A holiday is no longer a holiday now in my company that I'm working for. It's no longer a holiday because they will tell you no. If your holiday is involved in one of your shift, they will pay you normal. Then the other hours they will make it as an overtime. They say if you coming for they call you to come in overtime, you are not belonging to a shift. They will tell you that no. It's when they are going to pay you as a public holiday. This is what we're suffering. You know what I'm blaming here? Actually, we're blaming here. We are blaming the former Minister of Labour, that Mr. Ngesi. He's the one who signed that thing, is in that bargaining council. Because why? I'll get another thing is that you cannot have whereby a foreigner must have a union. That guy is in that bargaining council is from Zimbabwe. Then his surname is Moyo. So how come a foreigner can come and form a union in the country? That's where things come going wrong. That's where corruption is getting wrong. And 2 weeks back, 2 years back, we reported this to one of the in that Sira in Pretoria, whereby the name by Katlego, he has himself come straight to the company where I'm working. He himself straight find the foreigner and then this foreigner doesn't have papers, and he promised to put us there, to bring the company in the decision hearing. Since then, no one is responding to everything. The company here I'm working is employing people which are undocumented in the country. So we suffer because as South Africans, we are paying a SIRA, but SIRA doesn't care of us. There are people who don't have documents. They are working in the companies. It's not only my company, that the whole London. If we can, my sister, if you can please help us bring the minister here and check what was signed on that bargaining council, the law can be changed there. That is not for the workers, it's for the employers, not the employees. That bargaining council. That's all that I can say for now.
All right,
Thank
Anonymous. Thanks for that contribution. Quite a
Thank you.
mouthful. Frederick, let me perhaps give you an opportunity to respond, in particular because you also touched on the issue of the bargaining council.
Cathy, I must say that I want to differ with the last speaker in relation to a bargaining council being there to protect employers. It's not true. Yes, bargaining council do have challenges, and the speaker mentioned the name of one person who is not a South African, who was coming from a union called GAU, who was part of the bargaining council, and as the bargaining council's representative. Unions, we raised this concern with this individual, and I can confirm that the man, Mr. Kumulan Moyo, is no longer part of the bargaining council. He has been removed. The speaker is correct there. But in terms of the bargaining council itself, I must say that there is a need that we need to have further discussions about how the bargaining council operates. Bargaining council don't protect only employers; they do protect even employees. Like I said earlier on, we are as labor, we are busy formulating collecting the wage demands in preparation for 2027 wage increase that we are going to start with the negotiations this year. So the bargaining council do help. Unfortunately, majority of companies, like I said earlier on, they don't comply.
Okay.
Companies that are complying, you will not hear employees complaining like this.
All right. Thanks. Unfortunately, that's all we have time for today. We will pick up on this conversation at a later date, hopefully within the next month, to get some kind of an update. It certainly is not one of those conversations that we will leave hanging, because there's still so many questions that need to be answered. And most importantly, a sense of justice, right? We have to believe in the right thing being done. We can't allow a situation where organizations treat people wrongly and they get away with it. We can't allow that. It's just after 11 o'clock, time for your latest news update.
Thank you, Cathy. On the top stories, police investigate incidents of violence at initiation schools in the Vaal, and Iran accuses Trump of inciting violence. For SAFM News, I am Ondelambana, and a very good morning. Gauteng police say they are investigating a number of incidents involving initiation schools in the Vaal following the death of 4 initiates at different initiation schools. The homecoming of initiates in the Vaal was marred by acts of violence that left a number of people hospitalized after being attacked, while some were shot in what is believed to be warring factions of initiates. 4 initiates were confirmed dead at different initiation schools. Gauteng Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs spokesperson Theon Konki has urged police to act on those involved in acts of violence and deaths illegal initiation schools.
The 2025 summer initiation season commenced on the 21st of November 2025 for non-school going initiates, and on 11 December 2025 for school going initiates. It is scheduled to conclude on the 14th of January 2026. During this period, 4 initiates unfortunately and tragically lost their lives under varying circumstances. Investigations by the South African Police Service remain ongoing, including inquiries into any possible contraventions of the Customary Initiation Act.
A man from Falala Park on the Cape Flats has been shot and killed last night. Police spokesperson Wesley Twig says the victim was shot multiple times. No arrests have been made.
And upon arrival on the scene, they found a 19-year-old male who sustained gunshot wounds to his body. The victim was declared deceased on the scene by medical personnel. The circumstances surrounding the incident are under investigation and arrests are yet to be made. Bishop Levis detectives are investigating a murder case.
Parents queuing outside the Gauteng Department of Education's district office in Morningside, Johannesburg, have expressed dissatisfaction with the department's learner placement process. This as the 2026 academic year has officially kicked off despite ongoing placement challenges. Approximately 4,000 learners are still unplaced in Gauteng schools. One of the parents, Keith Burkinen, says her son was placed in a school that is 60 kilometers away from her home.
I've been struggling since October last year to place him, okay? I'm not going to drive 60 kilometers a day to Kempton Park to go and drop my son at school and then come back home. Like, what is the point? They're going to pay my petrol? I don't think so.
Some learners who went to school at Giani High School in Limpopo today say they went to class because they did not receive an official notice that schools in the area will not open today due to floods. The Limpopo Education Department announced that schools which have been affected by persistent rainfall, which has caused flooding, will not reopen this week. Vembe and Mopani districts have been experiencing heavy rainfall, which has led to rivers flooding and damaged road network linking some villages and towns. A grade 10 learner at Giani High School, Renelo Malaji, had this to say.
No, I just heard the rumors that schools are going to open next week Monday. So I just wanted to come and check for myself. I will use public transport to get back home.
Iran's mission to the UN has accused US President Donald Trump of inciting violence and laying the groundwork for trying to topple the Islamic regime. This after Trump threatened Iran with military intervention should the government proceed with the hanging protesters. There's been a total internet blackout in Iran, though some videos and messages have sipped through via satellite link apps. The BBC's Caroline Holly has more details.
We don't yet know the full scale of the bloodshed that's taken place while millions of people were cut off from the world, but a horrifying picture is beginning to emerge. After several days without contact with her family, one woman in London said she'd had a brief phone call this morning with a relative in Gorgan, north of Tehran.
They said that basically everyone's been killed. And I asked, do they personally know people? And they said family members, colleagues, neighbours, in every household it's happening.
As the regime has tried to reassert control, there have been many arrests and threats of execution.
Recapping the top story, Gauteng police say they're investigating a number of incidents involving initiation schools in the file following the death of 4 initiates at different initiation schools. I'm Ondilambana for SAFM News Headlines at 11:30.
SAFM 104 to 107 nationwide. Every day, Rand Water's underground pipelines run through servitudes across the country, carrying millions of litres of water to our communities. But when people build too close, it's called encroachment, and it's very dangerous. If a pipeline bursts, it can flood homes, destroy property, and in many cases, people lose their lives. That's why Rand Water marks its servitudes with blue and white beacons, a clear warning to stay clear and safe. When we protect Rand Water's servitudes, we protect our communities too. Rand Water, finding new ways.
You can become a victim of a legal problem: wrongful arrest, assault, uncontested divorce, rental disputes, maintenance matters, or labor problems. It can happen to you. Clientele Legal provides tough professional lawyers for an affordable monthly premium. Our legal team is standing by to assist you 24 hours a day. Join today. SMS SAFM to 32195. That's SAFM to 32195. Clientele General is an authorized FSP and licensed non-life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
For 90 years, one voice has informed, challenged, and connected a nation. SAFM, South Africa's national English public radio station. Established in 1936 as the SABC's very first service, the A program, evolving through the English service, Radio South Africa to SAFM in 1995, shaping thought and strengthening democracy. From a full-spectrum station to a trusted home of news and talk, SAFM continues to lead the conversations 90 years strong. SAFM, leading the conversations that move us.
You can become a victim of a legal problem: wrongful arrest, assault, uncontested divorce, rental disputes, maintenance matters, or labor problems. It can happen to you. Clientele Legal provides tough professional lawyers for an affordable monthly premium. Our legal team is standing by to assist you 24 hours a day. Join today. SMS SAFM to 32195. That's SAFM to 32195. Clientele General is an authorized FSP and licensed non-life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
The Lions of Teranga have a big plan to demonstrate that they are the 2021 champions. However, the Pharaohs want to emphasize that they are the 7-time record holders. This is the Total Energies Africa Cup of Nations Morocco 2025. Catch the semi-final contest between Senegal and Egypt this Wednesday, 14 January at 6 p.m. Live on SABC Plus, SABC2 and SABC Sport on DTT Channel 4. Then on SABC radio stations at 7 p.m. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport, the official broadcaster of AFCON 2025. It's game on everywhere.
For the love of the game.
The National Pulse, weekdays 3 to 6 p.m.
I would think, therefore, your endorsement of Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi was like the most obvious thing in the world, isn't it? How could you ever think any other way?
Well, long before the meeting with the National Commissioner, Mr. Masemola, I was categoric in that whenever the time comes for the renewal of the contracts of Social Commissioner Mkhwanazi, I will give it yes. I will not hesitate for what they are doing in the province. When you look at the stats, which is evidence that crime is declining in the province of KwaZulu-Natal.
With me, the Premier of KZN, Premier Tami Ntulia.
Ashraf Gada on SAFM.
Clientele is here to safeguard you and your family with compassion because life happens. Be part of a family that truly cares. Our funeral dignity plans have helped South Africans bury their loved ones with dignity for more than 30 years. Let us help you create a meaningful tribute that honors your life and those of your loved ones. We pay out within 24 hours and you will get double accident cover with a Clientele funeral plan. Our plans are affordable. Pick the option that suits your needs. Easy to apply, no medical examinations and no paperwork. SMS SAFM to 48031. That's 48031. Clientele Life is an authorized FSP and licensed life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
3-time champions.
This is SAFM, leading the conversations that move us. This is SAFM.
Just tell me about how this concert series fits in with what you are trying to do with these young people.
The reality is that private funders do not just thoughtlessly throw their resources around.
It is one thing to get a backtrack like that for a finance guy, hey?
Somebody just WhatsApped me to say that she has a
Ad hoc committee established to investigate allegations by the KZN Provincial Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi is resuming its work today, and we're now entering the second phase of the oral hearings. According to a statement issued by the committee, evidence leader Advocate Norman Arendse will be leading evidence in relation to 6 witnesses over the next couple of days. They're resuming their work with the former police commissioner, Lieutenant General Khumbudzo Phahlane, taking the witness box. You'd remember he was the police commissioner, and he left office after being asked to step aside by the then Minister of Police, Fikile Mbalula. And he was later charged and has an ongoing case within the country's courts that relates to misconduct during his time as the National Police Commissioner. So we're going to be hearing from him today as he gives evidence in Parliament. Let me then take you over to the ad hoc committee's proceedings.
But she has promised that she can send someone to bring her photograph here. We will see as it comes. Honorable Breitenbach and Honorable Thopper as well has spoken about personal commitments tomorrow. Can I check further apologies, Honorable Skosana?
Thank you, Chair. Honorable Nomvalo will join us in the next few minutes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Do we still have further apologies? Okay. Honorable members, we have 2 witnesses this week. Today, we have a date with General Phahlane, and then tomorrow it will be Lieutenant General Khumalo until Friday around 2 o'clock or 15 hours. And then next week, Tuesday and Wednesday will be the appearance of Mr. McBride. And then Thursday and Friday will be Mr. Julius Mkhwanazi. The committee will meet on Monday to finalize all outstanding matters as we are working towards winding up towards the date of the 20th of February. General Phahlane has requested that because they had a hectic time preparing for the statement that has been made available to us of about 170 pages. The request is that we run until 20 or 21 hours tonight so that they can have time to rest. So this is a matter which committee members must think about as we proceed during the day. Committee members have any feedback that they want to give to the chair, you can always advise. In case by that time we are not finished, we can decide on Monday when do we reallocate him a day to come back to conclude the proceedings. But like I said, we are a committee, we are here, all of us. We can always advise each other as the day progresses. I think it's a fair request. We let's allow the proceedings to go ahead, and we will make that determination as the day progresses. Can I check Advocate Arensa, do you want to formally introduce the witness?
Thank you, Honourable Chair, honourable members. Good morning, General Mohlahlana and your team, legal team. We have formally met each other also this morning, and we've been engaging with General Mohlahlana and his team over the past few weeks. And the affidavit that is now before the committee with the annexes is the result of that lengthy engagement. General Mohlahlana obviously wants to use this opportunity of clearing the air and raising a few issues on this platform, and it's his right to do so. So he is here today, and he's willing and prepared to give his evidence. So I formally request you to swear him in as a witness. Thank you.
Okay. Maybe before we swear him in, may you kindly introduce the advocate next to you formally to the people of South Africa.
Thank you, Chair, honourable members, members of the media, and members of the public watching. On my left is Advocate Bongiwe Mkhize. She is a member of the Johannesburg Bar. She was appointed in early December to assist us in place of Advocate Lerato Sikalala, who has been with us up until the end of November, and due to prior commitments that she has during the course of this year, starting early this year, she was unable to continue. It's a big loss to the team, but in the short time that we've had with Advocate Mkhize, she's a more than able replacement. So I've already introduced her online to the Honourable Committee, and she's here in person today, so we welcome her on board. Thank you.
Advocate Mkhize, we welcome you to this committee and these proceedings, and we want to wish you all the best in the responsibilities that have been allocated to you. And in the same breath, we want to thank you, all of you, Advocate Sikalala, Advocate Mohlahlana, and yourself for raising the flag in the name of the women of South Africa, that women are capable, women have abilities, and they can do everything to realize the aspirations of the people of South Africa. All the best to you. Thank you so much. I nearly said advocate, Honorable Malema.
No, thanks, Chair. And I'm sorry to come late on this point. When you dealt with apologies, you said people have taken their children to school, and an option we thought we didn't have. Because had you communicated something like that before, we would have done the same. We're sitting here painfully that we have not accompanied our children to school because we thought such an option was not available. But now I hear that it is
those
acceptable.
Children who have today as their first day at school, and I know very well that you and I do not have children who have to start school today. They have been there, they are used to the environment.
No, you don't know that.
Yeah, no, it's not that it's an option, honorable members. They have made those requests that they accompany their children to school. General Patani, are you ready? Can we administer the oath?
I'm ready, Chair.
Thank you so much. Let me just read the following to you, which is a standard practice that we do with every witness that appear before this committee, that you have been invited to appear before this ad hoc committee to investigate the allegations by Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi. You have been invited here to provide information in relation to the ad hoc committee's oversight work in investigating the aforesaid allegations. They include, amongst others, the alleged unlawful disbandment of the Political Killings Task Team, otherwise known as the PKTT or NPKTT. Number two, the alleged moratorium on the filling of vacancies within the South African Police Services, the SAPS. Number three, alleged corrupt relationship between senior leadership within the SAPS. And lastly, alleged political interference in the work of the SAPS. When this invitation was extended to you, you were accordingly informed that you may provide this information to the ad hoc committee if you so wish, under oath in terms of the powers, privileges, and immunities of Parliament and Provincial Legislatures Act. We want to take this opportunity to inform you that by law, you are required to answer fully and satisfactorily all the questions lawfully put to you, or to produce any document that you are required to produce in connection with the subject matter of the inquiry, notwithstanding the fact that the answer or the document could incriminate you or expose you to criminal or civil proceedings or damages. General Mohlahlana, however, you are protected in that evidence given under oath or affirmation before a House or a Committee of Parliament may not be used against you in any court or place outside Parliament, except in criminal proceedings concerning a charge of perjury or a charge relating to the evidence or documents required in these proceedings. Please be aware that in terms of Section 17, subsection 2 of the Powers, Privileges and Immunities of Parliament and Provincial Legislatures Act, a person who willfully furnishes a House or a Committee of Parliament with information or makes a statement before it which is false or misleading commits an offense and is liable to a fine or to imprisonment for a period not exceeding 2 years. General Mohlahlana, you are required to take an oath or affirm that the evidence you are about to give is truthful. You may choose to take the oath or the affirmation. Which one do you elect?
I take an oath, Chair.
If you take oath, then you will follow me as I dictate. You will say I and state your names in full.
I, Johannes Khomotso Mohlahlana,
swear that the evidence I shall give
swear that the evidence I shall give
shall be the truth,
the whole truth,
and nothing but the truth.
and nothing but the truth.
And so help me God.
So help me God.
Thank you so much. I'm handing over to you, Advocate Arendse, to take us through the proceedings until 13 hours. During the proceedings, General Mohlahlana, if members of the committee want to clarify certain matters that you would have made in your statements, they are allowed, and I think it's something that you must be alive to. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Chair.
All the best.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. General, a fairly lengthy affidavit has been made available by you to the committee. And there's a number of issues that has been raised by you. Perhaps we could just start. What is your current or present position?
I'm looking after my family. I'm at home. But before we go there, although the chair may have made reference to it, is it my understanding that the length of my affidavit and the issues to be raised is appreciated by the committee members, which will not necessarily make it possible for us to complete today. And I'm raising this because I surely don't want to be here and run through the issues for the sake of running through the issues. It was important for me to provide context in as far as the affidavit is concerned, and also considering the amount of time that we took in consultation and the sleepless nights, Chair, we spent in putting together this comprehensive affidavit. So I will appreciate it if we were not to run through the affidavit for the sake of running through the affidavit, but do justice to the issues that have been raised. I'm not here solely to respond to what Mr. Nkabinde had disclosed. Of course, what he said is the truth, but also there are a number of issues that General Mkhwanazi himself have spoken to that I will want to talk to, that are covered in my affidavit. And maybe, Chair, I'm raising this because just like General Mkhwanazi, we had thought we will be provided an opportunity by the former Chief Justice Zondo. We provided our affidavits because there were issues that were raised. I was given permission to come, but I was never given a date. So the Zondo Commission came and went without me having an opportunity to respond to the issues in the public domain, which issues remain relevant to the proceedings today. They also are relevant in the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry. And I also thought it would have been good if there was follow through to what the Chief Justice Zondo has said, because he did not make any findings on the security issues. There was a commitment or recommendation made that he's going to recommend to the President to have a commission or inquiry specifically focusing on the security cluster or the justice, crime prevention and security cluster, which let me speak for myself, I welcomed. I thought that opportunity is going to present itself. It never did. So I'm just simply, Chair, raising this to say there is no way that I will be comfortable in going through the affidavit, comprehensive as it is, with evidence in this day alone, because we are not going to do justice. That's my plea. I certainly don't have an issue with proceeding. And in answering your question, I'm at home. I was unlawfully dismissed. That matter is before the Labour Appeals Court. The Labour Appeals Court may pronounce this week or next week, and I don't want to go further into that. That's where it is. Let's allow the courts to pronounce.
Honourable Chair, I don't know if you wish to respond to some of the comments made by General Mohlahlana. I certainly, I'm not in a position to indicate to you now how soon we might get done. I think you're right that we would not want to rush through your considerable affidavit. It's apparent from the affidavit, and the honourable members of the committee would have read it for themselves, that you remain aggrieved at your dismissal and you wish to raise certain issues relating to that. However, as we've pointed out to you in our engagements and again this morning, that this is obviously not a forum that will be able to make those decisions. They have been, you've pointed out, been raised in other forums, and decisions have been made there. But to the extent that your evidence and what's in your affidavit are relevant to the terms of reference of this committee, we will have a full engagement. And if we are not concluding at the time indicated by the Honourable Chairperson, then we'll come back at another time.
Yeah. No, it's fine. I think it will be fair to give honourable members an opportunity to express themselves on the request for sufficient time by the witness. Can I take the parties, the ANC?
No, thanks, Chair. Chair, I earlier on when you said that we are going to deal with this matter late, we accepted your guidance, but we were a bit conflicted because usually when we start a proceeding like this, we have to prepare as parties, fully aware of the time at which our own engagement will begin with the witness. And so it's going to be difficult to proceed without that plan well known ahead of time. So in essence, I want to propose that we agree with the request from the witness that we should grant him a second day, and therefore by so doing it allows us to be predictable today that the engagement is largely going to be led by the senior counsel and his team. As and when the situation requires, we will make our own interventions. But we plan in a way that allows us to know that for today, except interventions, the greater part of the interactions are going to just between the witness and the legal team. I think it will be helpful to plan it in that way. Where I think we may have to decide later, as you said, is which other day can we secure for the witness to come back. But that we agree in principle that it should be today and another day yet to be determined. I want to propose that we consider that approach. Thank you.
The MKP.
Thank you, Chair. I don't think it's a problem, Chair. I think it's understandable. When you read this submission from General Mohlahlana, it's a very long one. And indeed, it will be totally impossible for us to finish the day today. And I guess the issue now is about the date. You know, when we agreed that when we have to finish, whether it's I think we've got a shocker block calendar for next witnesses. But indeed, with your wisdom, I guess that we will be able to have a date, you know, soon for this submission to be completed. Thank you, Chair.
Okay. The DA.
Thank you, Chair. Must be because it's the beginning of the year. I agree with Mr. Ntuli. Let us deal with the matter in that fashion. And we'll need an extra day in any event, so it makes little difference. I noticed, Chair, that we're not sitting on Mondays, and I know that Mondays are a constituency day. But given the severe time constraints of this committee, perhaps we should consider sitting on Mondays. Thank you.
The EFF.
No, thanks, Chairperson. I really don't know what we're doing and where the concerns of the witness come from, because in this committee, we've never rushed through any affidavit. And there must never be such a suggestion that we rush through affidavits. And in this committee, there's never been a witness which left here unsatisfied that my issues were not sufficiently canvassed. And therefore, where that concern comes from, I don't know. When you told us that we was going to finish at 9, the chief whip of the ANC and everybody else knew what you were saying. When you said 9, we knew you were talking 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock, because that's what you say. Or we are going to finish at 9. At 9, we start renegotiating again to finish at 11, and we finish at 1. That's how effective we are. We are very serious about these matters. So we can't, right at the beginning, say, it looks like we're going to have a problem. 168 pages does not necessitate anything. It can be 168 pages with few issues that can be sufficiently canvassed, and by 9 o'clock we're done. But this committee at all times, when it is not satisfied itself, it will set itself and come to a conclusion that we need another day. But we can't start by saying we need another day, and the reason is it's 168 pages. That cannot be a criteria. This issue which I'm picking up is that the concerns are, I can't just come to rush through the thing, and I'm saying we've never done that. We're going to give this matter the attention it deserves, and by the time General leaves here, you'll be satisfied like the rest of others who came before us here and they left satisfied. Thanks.
Bangazit.
Well, thank you, Honorable Chairperson. I'm inclined to actually support the proposal made by Honorable Dooley in respect of how the proceedings should actually be, taking into account the concerns and the volume of work it would appear that this committee would need to look at. But also there is merit in actually what Honorable Malema is actually saying, that we should not actually put hurdles on our way before we even embark on a journey. We haven't actually started interrogating the issues here. Maybe by 9 o'clock, we would be satisfied that we have done justice to the witness statement, and thereby not necessitating any further extension of time. Well, let's see what happens by 9 o'clock. Thank you.
Honorable Sols.
I support the proposal, Chair.
Okay. General, the committee is saying to you, or you must not be worried that there is any matter that is in your statement that will not be given due consideration. But then, secondly, let's run the proceedings. And at the appropriate time, a determination will be made. If we have exhaustively dealt with everything today, it's okay. And if the committee feels that there is a need for an extension, it will arrive at that decision. So, yeah, all the best.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Honourable Chair, Honourable Members. General Mohlahlana, perhaps we can, however, get through some of the formalities a bit quicker. And here I'm referring to your academic credentials and your career in the South African Police Services. And if you could just confirm, you matriculated in December 1984. You entered the police as a constable on the 8th of November 1985. In 1982, you obtained a National Diploma, Police Administration. You also obtained a Bachelor of Arts Honours in Public Administration in 2014. And in 1999, you obtained a certificate in Management Services and an advanced certificate in management consultancy. Can you confirm that?
I can confirm, Chair.
Thank you. So that's quite an impressive background, and it's of little surprise, no surprise that you ended up in the most senior position in the police services, albeit in an acting capacity, because it also appears from your career in SAPS, which, as indicated, commenced on the 8th of November 1985, that you served over many years in various capacities and in various components that make up the South African police services. You spent time in crime intelligence. You spent time in the detective service, in crime prevention, in visible policing, in human resources, in organized development, in strategic management. You were appointed, you also spent time in communications, and then you also spent time in the senior management services, holding the rank of Lieutenant General, again, which points to you being eminently qualified to hold a senior position in the police. You were appointed on the 1st of September 2007 to the rank of Divisional Commissioner responsible for personnel services. From there, you also held a position as the head of forensic in the forensic division, and until your appointment as the acting National Commissioner of Police.
It's correct. It will be evident from that I'm not a fly-by-night cop. Many years serving the South African public as an officer in various capacities. I became a senior manager, as the records will show, in 2001. And I'm occupying the rank of Lieutenant General since 2007. That's when I was appointed to that level. So I did not ascend to that level only when I became appointed as an acting National Commissioner. It was a, by the way, I was a temporary worker then as an acting National Commissioner.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you it was on the 14th of October 2015.
Let's see.
Sorry, Chair.
No, Chair, I was trying to raise my hand earlier and you couldn't recognize me. I just wanted to ask a quick question, as if you don't mind, that the General mentions the high school he went to, mentions the college where he went to, and then he mentions further studies. But in the further studies, you don't mention the institutions where you obtained those further studies.
All right. I may respond. My bachelor's degrees are from the University of Pretoria, both my BA in Public Administration as well as my honors degree. I acquired them through the University of Pretoria. My national diploma in policing, it used to be offered by the institution it was called Technicon SA, which when the institutions were amalgamated, became part of UNISA. But that was the institution that offered the qualification. And in terms of the management services and management consultancy courses, which is more system management and organizational development and so on, that's offered by Tshwane University of Technology. When I was there, it was still called TUT. Yeah, that's, I suspect I covered them all. Thank you, Chair.
Okay. You can proceed, Advocate Aranza.
Thank you, Honourable Chair. Yes, just in relation to that question by Honourable Malema, we did ask General for your curriculum vitae, and you said you need to just update it and you'll make it available to us. We've got a copy here, but we make a copy available to the committee members in due course.
Yeah, you must tell the committee, Honourable Chair, that I grudgingly gave you that CV of mine because I'm not a job seeker. I'm not an applicant.
You're not looking for a job here?
No.
Okay. Thank you. On the 14th of October 2015, you were appointed as the acting National Commissioner in place of the suspended then National Commissioner General Ria Piecha. And then at that point, did you engage with the minister or the president in relation to your appointment?
In actual fact, it's interesting. I was in this committee when I was appointed, in this room. We were making presentation to the Portfolio Committee of Police. General Pierre was sitting somewhere here.
Yeah.
When the announcement was made, Francois Bietman, the former chairperson of the Portfolio Committee, was up there. And an announcement was made that General Piecha is being suspended. For few minutes, General Sithole, who was the Deputy National Commissioner, was appointed by the chairperson to be acting. Not long after that, an announcement was made when I was sitting here that the president, then President Jacob Zuma, appointed me as an acting National Commissioner of the South African Police Service. That was the 14th of October 2015. Appointments at that level are not made by the minister. They are made by the president. He appoints and he disappoints, if English says so.
So you were appointed then by then President Zuma. And on the 1st of June 2017, almost 2 years or so later, you were asked to step down or step aside by the then Minister of Police, Mr. Mbalula.
Correct.
Can you just tell us about the circumstances that led to that situation?
Correct. You will know that I was a guinea pig of the step-aside policy because it was first applied on me for whatever reasons. On that day, I was in Pretoria. I get a call from the office of the minister. I can't remember who specific in the minister's office. And I was asked to travel to Cape Town for a meeting with the minister. I had no reason not to respond to such, made travel arrangements, got here to Cape Town, waited for more than 3 hours for the minister to come. He came. We had our less than 5 minutes meeting. He was there with his deputy. I think the deputy then was Mr. Bongani Mkongi, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, Bongani. So at that time, the media was dominating with Pahlani and IPIT and Robert McBride and O'Sullivan. And then the minister simply asked, General, in view of all this negativity in the media, is it not better that you maybe step aside? I agreed because I'm not glued to any position. And I accepted the role of an acting national commissioner from the president, knowing that as a member of the South African Police Service, you can be deployed anywhere at any given time, as long as it's to serve the people of the Republic. I only asked 2 questions to the minister. Who do I hand over to? And he said, no worries, don't worry about that. And I say, since you say step aside, what does it mean? Say, no, you go home. Shook the minister's hand, thank you very much. I left. On my way out, I met Mr. Bo Mbindwani, who was, I think, a political advisor to the minister. I was coming from the 9th floor in the building, on ground level. As I was stepping out of the lift, Mr. Bo Mbindwani was entering, leading Lieutenant General Mutiwa, a colleague of mine. I left for the airport, waiting for my flight, and it is there, when I was sitting there, that I was following the minister, making an announcement to the effect that I am removed. I was asked to provide reasons within 48 hours why I should not be suspended, and that he is now, or Lieutenant General Mutiwa, who is incorruptible, is now the new acting national commissioner. I was at the airport. Now, I'm giving you all that to say I was not removed by the President of the Republic of South Africa as the Constitution and the Police Act dictates. I was made to step aside by the Minister of Police then. No law provides for such. That's why I continue to say that my removal from office cannot be found anywhere in the prescripts. Later, I think it was on the 7th of June, I then got a call from a colleague of mine, Lieutenant General Skete, who was saying, hey, General, I'm being asked to deliver documents to you. And I said, what is it? I mean, I've worked with General Skete for years. And he said, I've got these documents. It's a notice of suspension. And I said, General, you don't have to go through the trouble of traveling to my office. You can just ask one of the officers in my office. In actual fact, I sent my driver who went to him to fetch the documents and bring them. When I received the documents, the first thing I did, I called General Mutiwa and I asked him, General, are you trying to sort out the mess that the minister has created? And he was very apologetic. He said, General, I'm very sorry. It is true. It's a mess because You never suspend someone verbally without documents. And if I were to be suspended or removed from office, it was to be by the president who, in the first place, appointed me. To date, I don't have a letter signed by the president which is saying you are being removed as an acting national commissioner. Following the first, I think it was the second or the third, there was a media, there was, I can't remember the president's spokesperson, it's Dr. Sam, I just forget the surname. He issued a statement and said, the president thanked me for my services. That's in short what I can say about that removal. Unlawful, irrational, but it doesn't belong here, it belongs in the courts. That's why I'm ventilating that matter in the courts and the public protector of South Africa.
But at the time, you didn't firstly protest your innocence in relation to the allegations then in the media and in the public domain. You didn't take issue with that when it was raised with you by then Minister Mbalula. You also never took issue with the minister that, according to you, he was not competent to relieve you of your duties as the then acting national commissioner, and also you never took issue with the suspension. Is that right?
You are incorrect.
At the time, it's not apparent from your affidavit that you took issue. I'm not sure whether you raised it subsequently. I think you said in a complaint with the public protector.
Because I'm not looking for political intervention or political interference, I don't have to raise issues that are raised in the courts. And there was no reason for me to argue with the minister. There is no reason for me to protest. When we serve, I always hear ministers and deputy ministers say, we serve at the behest of the president. The National Commissioner is serving at the behest of the president, not of the minister. So why do I have to contest what need not?
Who has hearing loss?
Corruption in South Africa has reached disgraceful levels.
First things first, let's get to my daily That's My Point feature. So, did you see Cristiano Ronaldo cry yesterday?
This is SAFM. Music never sleeps, and neither do we.
Bokushula mina kuyabikwa angikhathali eyonto phela isuyinzima hard work I am ngivuke ekuseni ngenza uhlelo kumele ngabenza njalo I owe myself impumelelo sesiseduze nayo Shilo ini makanana Shilo ini makanana Shilo ini makanana Shigepisha machari mani Shilo ini makanana Shilo ini makanana Shilo ini makanana Shigepisha machari mani Yes makanana Yes makanana Yes makanana Shigepisha machari mani Shilo ini makanana Shilo ini makanana Shilo ini makanana Shigepisha machari mani Yes makanana Yes makanana Yes makanana Yes makanana Shigepisha machari mani Yes makanana Yes makanana Yes makanana Yes makanana
This is SAFM, leading the conversations that move us. This is SAFM.
Just tell me about how this concert series fits in with what you are trying to do with these young people.
The reality is that private funders do not just thoughtlessly throw their resources around.
It is one thing to get a backtrack like that for a finance guy, hey?
Somebody just WhatsApped me to say that she has a daughter who has hearing loss.
Corruption in South Africa has reached disgraceful levels.
First things first, let's get to my daily that's my point feature. So, did you see Cristiano Ronaldo cry yesterday?
This is SAFM. Music never sleeps, and neither do we.
phela isuyinzima hard work I am ngivuke ekuseni ngenza uhlelo kumele ngabenza njalo I owe myself impumelelo sesiseduze nayo Shilo ini makanana Shilo ini makanana makanana, shigepisha majarma, shilohini makanana, shilohini makanana, shilohini makanana, shigepisha majarma, yes makanana, yes makanana, yes makanana, yes makanana, shigepisha majarma, shilohini makanana, shilohini makanana, shilohini makanana, shigepisha majarma, yes makanana, yes makanana, yes makanana, yes makanana, shigepisha majarma, yes makanana, yes makanana, yes makanana, yes makanana.
This is SAFM, leading the conversations that move us. This is SAFM.
Just tell me about how this concert series fits in with what you are trying to do with these young people.
The reality is that private funders do not just thoughtlessly throw their resources around.
It is one thing to get a backtrack like that for
Yeah.
a finance guy, hey?
Somebody just WhatsApped me to say that she has a daughter who has hearing loss.
Corruption in South Africa has reached disgraceful levels.
First things first, let's get to my daily that's my point feature. So, did you see Cristiano Ronaldo cry yesterday?
This is SAFM.
Music never sleeps, and neither do we.
phela inzima hard work I am ngivuke ekuseni ngenza uhlelo kumele ngabenza njalo I hold myself impumelelo sesiseduze nayo
Shilo ini makanana Shilo ini makanana Shilo ini makanana Shigepisha machari mani Shilo ini makanana Shilo ini makanana Shilo ini makanana Shigepisha machari mani Yes makanana Yes makanana Yes makanana, shikepisha majarma, shilohini, shilohini makanana, shilohini makanana, shilohini makanana, shikepisha majarma, ilesh makanana, ilesh makanana, ilesh makanana, ilesh makanana, shikepisha majarma, ilesh makanana, ilesh makanana, ilesh makanana, ilesh makanana.
This is SAFM, leading the conversations that move us. This is SAFM.
Just tell me about how this concert series fits in with what you are trying to do with these young people.
The reality is that private funders do not just thoughtlessly throw their resources around.
It is one thing to get a backtrack like that for
Yeah.
a finance guy, hey?
Somebody just WhatsApped me to say that she has a daughter who has hearing loss.
Corruption in South Africa has reached disgraceful levels.
First things first, let's get to my daily that's my point feature. So, did you see Cristiano Ronaldo cry yesterday?
This is SAFM.
Music never sleeps, and neither do we.
phelisu inzima hard work I am ngivuke ekuseni ngenza uhlelo melela benza njalo I owe myself impumelelo sesiseduze nayo
Shilo ini makanana Shilo ini makanana Shilo ini makanana Shigepisha macharma Shilo ini makanana Shilo ini makanana Shilo ini makanana Shigepisha macharma Yes makanana Yes makanana Yes makanana Yes makanana Shigepisha macharma Shilo ini makanana Shilo ini makanana Shilo ini makanana Shigepisha macharma Yes makanana Yes makanana Yes makanana Yes
This is SAFM, leading the conversations that move us. This is SAFM.
Just tell me about how this concert series fits in with what you are trying to do with these young people.
The reality is that private funders do not just thoughtlessly throw their resources around.
It is one thing to get a backtrack like that for a finance guy, hey?
Somebody just WhatsApped me to say that she has a daughter who has hearing loss.
Corruption in South Africa has reached disgraceful levels.
First things first, let's get to my daily that's my point feature. So, did you see Cristiano Ronaldo cry yesterday?
This is SAFM.
Music never sleeps, and neither do we.
Hard work I am. Ngivuke ekuseni ngenza uhlelo, omelela benza njalo. I hold myself impumelelo. Sesiseduze nayo.
Shilo ini makanana. Shilo ini makanana. Shilo ini makanana. Shigepisha machari mani. Shilo ini makanana. Shilo ini makanana. Shilo ini makanana. Shigepisha machari mani. Makanana. Ilesh makanana. Ilesh makanana. Ilesh makanana. Shigepisha machari mani. Shilo ini makanana. Shilo ini makanana. Shilo ini makanana. Shigepisha machari mani. Ilesh makanana. Ilesh makanana. Ilesh makanana. Ilesh makanana. Shigepisha machari mani. Ilesh makanana. Ilesh makanana. Ilesh makanana. Ilesh makanana.
This is SAFM, leading the conversations that move us. This is SAFM.
Just tell me about how this concert series fits in with what you are trying to do with these young people?
The reality is that private funders do not just thoughtlessly throw their resources around.
It is one thing to get a backtrack like that for a finance guy, hey?
Somebody just WhatsApped me to say that she has a daughter who has hearing loss.
Corruption in South Africa has reached disgraceful levels.
First things first, let's get to my daily that's my point feature. So, did you see Cristiano Ronaldo cry yesterday?
This is SAFM.
Music never sleeps, and neither do we.
Hard work I am. Ngivuke ekuseni ngenza uhlelo, Phumelela benza njalo. I hold myself impumelelo. Sesiseduze nayo.
Shilo ini makanana. Shilo ini makanana. Shilo ini makanana. Shigepisha machari mani. Shilo ini makanana. Shilo ini makanana. Shilo ini makanana. Shigepisha machari mani. Yes, makanana. Yes, makanana. Yes, makanana. Shigepisha machari mani. Shilo ini makanana. Shilo ini makanana. Shilo ini makanana. Shigepisha machari mani. Yes, makanana. Yes, makanana. Yes, makanana. Yes, makanana. Shigepisha machari mani. Yes, makanana. Yes, makanana. Yes, makanana. Yes, makanana.
This is SAFM, leading the conversations that move us. This is SAFM.
Just tell me about how this concert series fits in with what you are trying to do with these young people.
The reality is that private funders do not just thoughtlessly throw their resources around.
It is one thing to get a backtrack like that for a finance guy, hey?
Somebody just WhatsApped me to say that she has a daughter who has hearing loss.
Corruption in South Africa has reached disgraceful levels.
First things first, let's get to my daily that's my point feature. So, did you see Cristiano Ronaldo cry yesterday?
This is SAFM.
Music never sleeps, and neither do we.
Inzima hard work I am ngivuke ekuseni ngenza uhlelo omelela benza njalo I hold myself impumelela sesiseduze nayo
Shilo ini makanana Shilo ini makanana Shilo ini makanana Shigepisha machari mare Shilo ini makanana Shilo ini makanana Shilo ini makanana Shigepisha machari mare makanana Ilesh makanana Ilesh makanana Ilesh makanana Shigepisha machari mare Shilo ini makanana Shilo ini makanana Shilo ini makanana Shigepisha machari Ilesh makanana Ilesh makanana Ilesh makanana Ilesh makanana Shigepisha machari Ilesh makanana Ilesh makanana Ilesh makanana Ilesh makanana
This is SAFM, leading the conversations that move us. This is SAFM.
Just tell me about how this concert series fits in with what you are trying to do with these young people.
The reality is that private funders do not just thoughtlessly throw their resources around.
It is one thing to get a backtrack like that for
Yeah.
a finance guy, hey?
Somebody just WhatsApped me to say that she has a daughter who has hearing loss.
Corruption in South Africa has reached disgraceful levels.
First things first, let's get to my daily that's my point feature. So, did you see Cristiano Ronaldo cry yesterday?
mina kuyabikwa angikhathali eyonto phela isuyinzima hard work I am ngivuke ekuseni ngenza uhlelo melela benza njalo I hold myself impumelelo sesiseduze nayo
Shilo ini makanana Shilo ini makanana Shilo ini makanana Shigepisha machari mani Shilo ini makanana Shilo ini makanana Shilo ini makanana Shigepisha machari mani Ilesh makanana Ilesh makanana Ilesh makanana Shigepisha machari mani Shilo ini makanana Shilo ini makanana Shilo ini makanana Shigepisha machari mani Ilesh makanana Ilesh makanana Ilesh makanana Ilesh makanana Shigepisha machari mani Ilesh makanana Ilesh makanana Ilesh makanana Ilesh makanana
This is SAFM, leading the conversations that move us. This is SAFM.
Just tell me about how this concert series fits in with what you are trying to do with these young people.
The reality is that private funders do not just thoughtlessly throw their resources around.
It is one thing to get a backtrack like that for
Yeah.
a finance guy, hey?
Somebody just WhatsApped me to say that she has a daughter who has hearing loss.
Corruption in South Africa has reached disgraceful levels.
First things first, let's get to my daily that's my point feature. So, did you see Cristiano Ronaldo cry yesterday?
This is SAFM.
Music never sleeps, and neither do we.
phela isuyinzima hard work I am ngivuke ekuseni ngenza uhlelo melela benza njalo I hold myself impumelelo sesiseduze nayo
Shilo ini makanana makanana, shigepisha majarma, shilohini makanana, shilohini makanana, shilohini makanana, shigepisha majarma, yes makanana, yes makanana, yes makanana, yes makanana, shigepisha majarma, shilohini makanana, shilohini makanana, shilohini makanana, shigepisha majarma, yes makanana, yes makanana, yes makanana, yes makanana, shigepisha majarma, yes makanana, yes makanana, yes makanana, yes makanana.
This is SAFM, leading the conversations that move us. This is SAFM.
Just tell me about how this concert series fits in with what you are trying to do with these young people.
The reality is that private funders do not just thoughtlessly throw their resources around.
It is one thing to get a backtrack like that for a finance guy, hey?
Somebody just WhatsApped me to say that she has a daughter who has hearing loss.
Corruption in South Africa has reached disgraceful levels.
First things first, let's get to my daily that's my point feature. So, did you see Cristiano Ronaldo cry yesterday?
This is SAFM.
Music never sleeps, and neither do we.
Inzima, hard work I am. Ngivuke ekuseni ngenza uhlelo, omelela benza njalo. I hold myself impumelelo. Sesiseduze nayo.
Shilohini makanana, shilohini makanana, shilohini makanana, shigepisha majarma, shilohini makanana, shilohini makanana, shilohini makanana, shigepisha majarma, yes makanana, yes makanana, yes makanana, ilesh makanana, shikepisha majarma, shilohini, shilohini makanana, shilohini makanana, shilohini makanana, shikepisha majarma, ilesh makanana, ilesh makanana, ilesh makanana, ilesh makanana, shikepisha majarma, ilesh makanana, ilesh makanana, ilesh makanana, ilesh makanana.
This is SAFM, leading the conversations that move us. This is SAFM.
Just tell me about how this concert series fits in with what you are trying to do with these young people.
The reality is that private funders do not just thoughtlessly throw their resources around.
It is one thing to get a backtrack like that for a finance guy, hey?
Somebody just WhatsApped me to say that she has a daughter who has hearing loss.
Corruption in South Africa has reached disgraceful levels.
First things first, let's get to my daily that's my point feature. So, did you see Cristiano Ronaldo cry yesterday?
This is SAFM.
Music never sleeps, and neither do we.
Hard work I am. Ngivuke ekuseni ngenza uhlelo, kumele benza njalo. I hold myself impumelelo. Sesiseduze nayo.
Shilohini makanana, shilohini makanana, shilohini makanana, shikepisha majarma, shilohini makanana, shilohini makanana, shilohini makanana, shikepisha majarma, ilesh makanana, ilesh makanana, ilesh makanana, ilesh makanana, shikepisha majarma, shilohini, shilohini makanana, shilohini makanana, shilohini makanana, shikepisha majarma, ilesh makanana, ilesh makanana, ilesh makanana, ilesh makanana, shigepisha majarma, ilesh makanana, ilesh makanana, ilesh makanana, ilesh makanana.
This is SAFM, leading the conversations that move us. This is SAFM.
Just tell me about how this concert series fits in with what you are trying to do with these young people.
The reality is that private funders do not just thoughtlessly throw their resources around.
It is one thing to get a backtrack like that for
Yeah.
a finance guy, hey?
Somebody just WhatsApped me to say that she has a daughter who has hearing loss.
Corruption in South Africa has reached disgraceful levels.
First things first, let's get to my daily that's my point feature. So, did you see Cristiano Ronaldo cry yesterday?
This is SAFM.
Music never sleeps, and neither do we.
Inzima hard work I am ngivuke ekuseni ngenza uhlelo melela benza njalo I hold myself impumelelo sesiseduze nayo
Shilo ini makanana, shilo ini makanana, shilo ini makanana, shigepisha majarma, shilo ini makanana, shilo ini makanana, shilo ini makanana, shigepisha majarma, ilesh makanana, ilesh makanana, ilesh makanana, ilesh makanana, shigepisha majarma, shilo ini makanana, shilo ini makanana, shilo ini makanana, shigepisha majarma, ilesh makanana, ilesh makanana, ilesh makanana, ilesh makanana, shigepisha majarma, ilesh makanana, ilesh makanana, ilesh makanana, ilesh makanana.
This is SAFM, leading the conversations that move us. This is SAFM.
Just tell me about how this concert series fits in with what you are trying to do with these young people?
The reality is that private funders do not just thoughtlessly throw their resources around.
It is one thing to get a backtrack like that for
Yeah.
a finance guy, hey?
Somebody just WhatsApped me to say that she has a daughter who has hearing loss.
Corruption in South Africa has reached disgraceful levels.
First things first, let's get to my daily that's my point feature. So, did you see Cristiano Ronaldo cry yesterday?
This is SAFM.
Music never sleeps, and neither do we.
Hard work I am. Ngivuke ekuseni ngenza uhlelo, melela benza njalo. I hold myself impumelelo. Ngathi siseduze nayo.
Shilo ini makanana. Shilo ini makanana. Shilo ini makanana. Shigepisha majani mani. Shilo ini makanana. Shilo ini makanana. Shilo ini makanana. Shigepisha majani mani. Makanana. Ilesh makanana. Ilesh makanana. Ilesh makanana. Shigepisha majani mani. Shilo ini makanana. Shilo ini makanana. Shilo ini makanana. Shigepisha majani mani. Ilesh makanana. Ilesh makanana. Ilesh makanana. Ilesh makanana. Shigepisha majani mani. Ilesh makanana. Ilesh makanana. Ilesh makanana. Ilesh makanana.
This is SAFM, leading the conversations that move us. This is SAFM.
Just tell me about how this concert series fits in with what you are trying to do with these young people.
The reality is that private funders do not just thoughtlessly throw their resources around.
It is one thing to get a backtrack like that for
Yeah.
a finance guy, hey?
Somebody just WhatsApped me to say that she has a daughter who has hearing loss.
Corruption in South Africa has reached disgraceful levels.
First things first, let's get to my daily that's my point feature. So, did you see Cristiano Ronaldo cry yesterday?
This is SAFM.
Music never sleeps, and neither do we.